All right, well, we are at 7:05 my time in Central Time, so I'm going to go ahead and get us started so we have enough time for the audit. I'm going to just make myself sticky here and run through a few announcements, and then we will get started with the main show. So the announcements are, of course, if you have not been before, we have a Facebook group. It's just called WordPress Accessibility. If you search for that on Facebook, it's a good place to connect with people between meetups, share things that you're working on, share things to get feedback, ask questions. So please join the Facebook group. It's a great way to connect. If you want to find upcoming events or past recordings. So everyone, this is a frequently asked question is, are these recorded? Yes, they're recorded. It takes us about 2 weeks to get corrected captions. And then we post up the video with the corrected captions and the full transcript. And that is available on our website at equalizedigital.com/meetup. If you want to get notified when the recording is available and you don't want to have to go check back, then we highly recommend joining our email list. We send one email every other week vaguely about, and then some reminders in advance of upcoming meetups. So you should be able to do that right after you leave Zoom. Otherwise, you can join at equalizedigital.com/focus-state. We did also start a podcast. I'm kind of excited about it, so I'm giving it a shout out. It's called Accessibility Craft. We do craft beverages and we talk about accessibility, myself and my partners. So if you're interested in listening, the other thing that is helpful about that is we are putting up the audio from the meetup recordings, because some people don't want the video or they want to be able to walk around their house and fold laundry or something while they listen to it. So we are putting up the audio from meetups on Accessibility Craft as well, and that's accessibilitycraft.com. We do rely on sponsors for this meetup in order to help us cover the cost of the live captioning and the event or the post-event transcription and creating that corrected captions file for the videos that live on YouTube. Unfortunately, the WordPress Foundation, they told us that they don't have regular budget for that, so we have to come up with our own budget. This particular evening, like tonight, we don't have a sponsor, so my company is just covering it. But if anyone's company is interested in sponsoring Meetup, please reach out to us. We can share with you what the information is. We don't profit at all. We literally charge the sponsors the exact cost that the captioning company charges us. So it's just because the foundation was like, unfortunately, we can't provide budget for that. So please reach out. You can contact myself and Paula, our other co-organizer of the meetup, at meetup@equalizedigital.com. You can also use that email address if you have accessibility needs or feedback for us, if there's a topic you would like us to cover, or if you'd like to speak. I think we have speakers for the next couple months, but we are definitely looking for some for the summer. So please reach out to us there. Who am I? If you haven't been here before, my name is Amber Hines. I am one of the lead organizers for the WordPress Accessibility Meetup. I also own a company called Equalize Digital that's a certified B Corporation, and we're really focused on accessibility. It is our passion, and all of the work that we do revolves around it. We have a WordPress plugin called Accessibility Checker that helps you test websites for accessibility problems and provides reports on the admin screen to helpfully speed up accessibility testing and make it a little bit easier for people. We do have a sponsor for our transcripts after the event. As always, we are grateful to Empire Caption Solutions. They very generously donate their services to us. They take our video, they provide us with an accurate transcript and captions, which, if you have never done that for an hour-and-a-half video, you cannot understand how incredibly valuable that is, because I am not a fast typer. And it probably takes me 3 times in the very beginning before they decided to come on as a sponsor. We were creating these all by ourselves, and correcting them takes a lot of work. And so They do a great job. They've been wonderful to work with. They also do audio description and ASL interpretation. And they're, really great in the community. You can find out more about them if you go to empire.captions.com. And they're not super active on Twitter. They're on LinkedIn, but they do have a Twitter, and it's Empire. It's just at Empire Caption. So if you want to tweet them a thank you for sponsoring, we always encourage that because we want them to continue sponsoring. We have 2 upcoming events that I want to share with you. On Thursday, April 6th at 10 a.m. Central Time in the US, we will have Tammy Durden. She is a person who is living and thriving with multiple disabilities, and she's going to talk about navigating online work with disabilities. She also consults with other people with disabilities and helps them build online businesses, and she's going to talk about her own experiences, some of the challenges that her clients have experienced or that she has experienced, and how they've figured out workarounds and how to overcome that. And I think for any of us who are interested in serving people with disabilities, this is a really great event to attend and get some ideas about maybe roadblocks that might exist in our own businesses or processes or in our software that we can resolve so that it makes it easier for people that are working online with disabilities. And then in this same time slot in April, Nick Croft, he's a developer at Reactive and also pretty active in the WordPress community and a plugin developer, is going to be talking about doing responsive color on websites. So his talk will be called Dark, Light, and Inverted, a developer's guide to color modes. So he will be sharing code and talking about how you can create a website that respects a user's preference for either dark mode or light mode set in their operating system and serves them different color schemes on their website. And apparently my phone is buzzing, so I apologize for that. I will make sure I have the sound turned off. There we go. So, of course, today we have with us Alex Stein. If you've been before, you know Alex, but I'm going to let him introduce himself. He's a wonderful contributor in the WordPress community to accessibility. Alex, I just spotlighted your video. If you want to give everyone a little hello and introduction.
Hello. I mean, that's pretty much all the introduction I need. I do cloud engineering work as my full-time job, accessibility consultant to pay the extra bills, and I show up to meetups every now and then. So I have a lot of fun. You can find me around the community, hit or miss.
Yeah, you're on LinkedIn the most, right? And you're also on WordPress Slack?
Yes.
Awesome. And then I don't need to introduce myself again. So I'm excited to introduce Jason Coleman. I'm going to pop his spotlight up there as well. Today, we are going to be doing our live audit for Paid Memberships Pro, which is a membership plugin. I'll just say before I let Jason introduce it that we've used it on client sites. I also am very impressed about their commitment to open source and the fact that they really care about giving back to the community. And one of the things I'm excited about today is that they came and without us even prompting, they said, we want you to test the front end, but we also want to make sure our settings pages are accessible so people with disabilities can use our plugin on their websites, which I think is really cool because a lot of plugin developers wouldn't even think or realize that they have to think about the settings pages too. So I love that. And I feel like you all have really care about the WordPress community. So welcome. And I want to let you introduce the plugin and where people can go to learn more about it if they want to try it out for themselves.
Sure. Thanks for that introduction. I'm excited to, have open ears and learn a lot as Alex and everyone goes through the plugin. But the website is the best place to get started, paidmembershipspro.com. And if you want updates from the business, we post most often on Twitter at PM Pro Plugin. And we're also pretty active on our YouTube channel, posting how-to videos and stuff like that, but also sometimes getting into the business behind membership sites and e-commerce and things like that. So thanks.
Well, thank you. So I am going to stop sharing in just a second, but I'd like to put a little bit of guidelines for the meetup. So first of all, just so everyone is aware, the goal of this meetup is to give voice to assistive technology users. So I, might provide some feedback or guidance, but really my goal is to allow Alex to speak as the user. And we're hoping that everyone, if you're posting in the chat, let's, not put aside Alex's experience as the user. So we just want to make sure that everyone knows that that's really important. And then number two, the point of this meetup is not to say XYZ plugin sucks or like has horrible problems, right? Accessibility is a journey. It's a learning opportunity. It takes a lot of, I think, courage to be willing to come up here. And so we just ask that everyone not bash. Remember, this is about providing actionable, positive feedback for the plugin developers. And I hope that we would all leave here applauding them for their interest and willingness to get up and learn and make their product more accessible, rather than, saying, oh, this thing is bad, right? So those are our two guidelines. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to let you go over and start sharing, Alex.
Okay. So don't be alarmed. I won't make everyone listen at this speed. It is a little excessive for beginners, I think. We'll try it at 50%.
Can we actually, Alex, I'm wondering if it might be better for us to go a little bit slower, like 45.
Oh, you're
just
killing
because
me.
I want them, at least in the after video, to caption.
This is so painful.
I know it's really slow for you. The other question I have is, if you're able, do you think you can open the speech viewer?
NVDA menu reference tool subview log remote plugins view speech viewer S WPA 11Y meetup.
All right, and that's actually in a decent position. So
Well, then we better just pray it stays there.
So just for everyone's background, we have a staging site that has paid memberships pro set up on it. And we have a few items that the paid memberships pro team has indicated to us. So we're going to start. And the first one, Alex, was they were interested in you going to the pricing page, viewing a membership and purchasing it.
Link skip to the content banner, horizontal navigation landmark list with 5 items about link. Pricing link.
So we'll just see if we can find the pricing page using some basic link navigation. Here's our pricing link.
Membership levels.
Select it.
Link skip to the content.
We'll find the first heading on the page so we don't have to look through the navigation.
Main landmark membership levels heading level 1.
The heading level 1, like it should be. It's in the main landmark. Landmarks are just another navigational function of screen readers.
Heading level 2 beginner. Free. Link select. Graphic dog demo. Link select. Free. Select link.
So the first minor problem we have is a link that says select. In the grand scheme of things, you can figure it out with context if you look at the surrounding text. But where vague links really become a problem is in this situation.
Elements list dialog. Preview level 0. Select 8 of 22. Select 9 of 20. Select 10 of 20. Join today 11. Select 10 of 20. Select 9 of 20. Select 8 of 22.
So we have 3 select links, but they're not actually telling you what you're selecting. This is the elements list. So this is another way that users can get an idea of what's going on the page.
Membership levels. WP. Free. Link select. Graphic dog. Our introductory level includes everything you need to get started and experience some benefits. Heading level 2 professional. $100 per month.
Can I chime in for 1 second, Alex?
Yes.
And ask you a question. So obviously we sometimes get into a spot where they only have so much space on a button, which is how this link is styled. So your recommendation on this, I'm assuming, is either an ARIA label or hidden screen reader text within that button, that link, sorry, that says select professional membership, select beginner membership. Would that be what you'd like to see?
Exactly. ARIA label is perfectly sufficient now. They used to not be, but they are now.
Awesome.
Link select. Graphic demo dog. If you're serious about making the change, become a professional member to provide an heading level 2 enhanced. $25 per month. Link select. Graphic demo dog. When you're ready to do more, select our enhanced membership that include knowledge and training. Complimentary landmark heading level 3 join.
I mean, these memberships are very easy to navigate. So
Main when your graphic demo link select. $25 heading level 2 enhanced.
how about the enhanced membership? I mean, everyone always likes the most expensive ones.
25 link select. Membership checkout. WPA11Y Meetup. March 20th document busy. Link skip to the content. Main landmark membership checkout heading level 1. Banner landmark cloud of list main heading level 3 membership level link change. Heading level 1 heading level 3 membership level link change.
So we have a heading 3 after a heading 1. We're going to want to correct this to heading 2.
Change link heading level 3.
We have a link called change. We're going to want to add context here to say what we're changing.
You have selected the enhanced membership level. Graphic demo dog. When you're ready to do more, select our enhanced membership that includes even more support. Knowledge and training. The price for membership is $25 per month.
Not actually sure why that's so verbose. I guess it's just text, but actually it adds reading time. So price colon $25 per month. Much shorter, to the point.
Do you have a discount code? Link click here to enter your discount code. Separator. Do you have a
So click here.
There is a discount code you could try if you want. It's A11Y. I don't,
Click
are those
here to
case
discount code link.
sensitive, Jason?
Shouldn't be.
Okay.
Membership checkout. WPA11Y Meetup. March 20th Mozilla Firefox private browsing. Membership checkout. WPA11Y Meetup. March 20th document. Main landmark article. Discount code edit as autocomplete blank.
Okay, that was rather interesting. So 2 notes. If the link opens a form, that should actually be a button because it's an in-page action. And there is definitely something going on with the focus event here because it probably shouldn't have read the page title twice. My guess is this focus was called after some type of animation.
Yeah, the field was hidden, and then when you clicked the link, it made the field visible.
11Y. 11Y. Apply button.
Have an apply button. It would be even better if this said apply discount, just so we're real clear about what it does.
Unavailable.
So a visual message appeared, which was the A11Y code has been applied to your order.
So this would be a perfect scenario for the alert rule or an ARIA live rule that says that reads this message, this discount has been applied, or else I'm going to sit here and wonder what happened.
The 11Y code has been applied to your order. The price for membership is $15 now and then $25 per month. Link click here to change your discount code. Separator. Heading level 3 account information. Already have an account. Link login here. Username. Edit as autocomplete. Password. Edit confirm password. Edit password. Edit as auto username. Edit as autocomplete. Main landmark article.
Okay, do these values matter?
So I'm wondering if you want to first try and submit the form without filling all the required fields to see the error. But right now, these are good labeled fields, right?
No. So there
No?
is nothing that tells the user, the screen reader user, that any of this is required.
Interesting.
Oh, you're right. It didn't say required, did it?
Yeah, so as far as screen readers are concerned, all this can be left blank.
How would we tell the screen reader that field is required?
You have 2 options. You have the required attribute, which is from the HTML5 spec. It will enforce HTML5 validation. So that's kind of nice because then you don't have to mess around with managing focus with accessibility. It's all handled natively for the most part. And if you would rather keep that control in JavaScript and do validation yourself, you can use aria required equals true.
Okay.
And that
There's-
only allows it for the screen reader and doesn't HTML5 validate.
I just put a link in the chat that goes to the W3 schools that shows what required would look like on an input.
Perfect.
Password edit protected. Confirm password edit. Email address edit as autocomplete. Confirm email address. Company name edit as position edit as auto. First name edit as auto. Last name edit as address 1 edit as address 2 edit as city edit as auto. State edit as auto. Postal code edit country combo. Phone edit as auto. Secure card number input frame. Document. Credit or debit card number edit as autocomplete 1234 1234 1234 1234 blank. Doc credit or debit card expiration date edit as autocomplete MMYY.
So unfortunately, what we're seeing here is just a side effect of using Stripe. Stripe knows
yeah.
that they have accessibility issues with their frames and they do nothing about it. So
Do you
this
know,
is-
oh, is
this
that
is-
true of like the Stripe checkout when you click and go to Stripe? Is it any better, that version of Stripe? Do you know what I mean?
I don't believe it is.
Okay.
I mean, it might be if it's not wrapped in a frame. Frames do strange things with screen readers.
Okay.
They're best avoided if you can. But
Yeah.
yeah, this is just one of those examples of something that would be like a really great example of things that could have lasting change if companies would just take the responsibility. Because there's countless websites that use this.
Yeah.
Debit card CVC CVV edit as autocomplete CVC. Discount code edit as autocomplete 11Y. Apply button. Submit and checkout double right pointing angle bracket button.
So that button has an icon that needs to be hidden. As we can hear, the screen reader does not appreciate it.
That's
Complimentary.
the
Main
yeah,
landmark.
arrows.
Submit and checkout double right pointing angle bracket. Button. U.
But we'll try to submit. Silence.
Complimentary. Main your card number is incomplete. Edit as autocomplete 11Y button apply. Discount code. Credit or debit card.
So we get that message, but it's not announced until we go look for it. It doesn't move our focus back to the field that's not complete. Although I'm not so sure if that's even anything you can fix considering it's Stripe.
Link skip to the
But one would think that it would
main landmark membership. Username edit as autocomplete.
at least mark some errors for these fields.
Username heading level 3 account and separator. Link click here to check the price for media 11 knowledge and when you're ready to do graphic you have select heading level for your card number. Heading level 1 mem your card number is incomplete.
Okay, so there's another error all the way up there.
Heading level 1 banner landmark horizontal out of your card number is
So I think that's probably the one takeaway is error/success message communication can be improved.
username edit as autocomplete. Main landmark article. Username edit as autocomplete blank.
So do you want to try and check out? You have to
Uh,
fill in a lot. Sorry, but I can tell you which fields are actually required.
Okay,
So the username and password.
TESTUSER. Testaser. Password edit protected blank. Star. Confirm password star. Email address edit as autocomplete blank.
So I think this is required.
are we going to be checking emails?
No, you don't. You can use a fake email address.
Test at
Yeah.
EXAMPLEXCOM. Confirm email address edit.
No one here would send me spam emails.
TNEST. Test at
It is going on YouTube.
Company name edit as autocomplete blank.
This is optional.
This is
Position edit as
optional.
autocomplete blank. First name edit as autocomplete blank.
The full billing address should be optional as well, except the
I'm-
credit card.
Autocomplete blank.
Oh,
I might have changed that because I wanted to see your billing.
First name edit as
So you might need to put like a fake address in there.
ST. Last name USER. User address 1 edit as autocomplete blank. 1 2 3 100 EXAMPE exact ST address 2 edit as auto city edit as autocomplete blank.
Oh, which city should we use today?
mhm.
Hmm. How about
NASHVILE.
Nashville? Everybody loves Nashville.
Nashville. State edit as autocomplete blank. TN. PN. Postal code edit has autocomplete blank.
Oh, I hope it doesn't check this.
1, 1, 2,
I don't think so.
1, 0, 2, 3, 4. 10th 1, 0, 2, 3, 4 blank. Country combo box United States collapsed. Phone edit has autocomplete blank.
Is that required?
No.
Secure card number input frame. Document. Credit or debit card number edit invalid entry has autocomplete 1234 blank.
So this should work with just 4242 repeated.
4, 2, 4, 2. 4, 2, 4, 2.
All right, how many more?
8 more.
4, 2, 4,
Or
2.
8 total numbers. So 42 2 more times and you're good. Sorry. Now you're good.
Yeah.
4,242,424,242,424,224,242. Section. Secure expiration date input frame. Document. Credit or debit card expiration date edit invalid entry has autocomplete MMYY blank.
Any date in the future?
Any
Yeah.
date in the future.
I don't even know what this month is.
Just put like 1224.
1, 2, 2, 4, 1, 2, space, slash, space, 2, 4. Section. Secure CVC input frame. Document. Credit or debit card CVC edit invalid.
And
Any
any
3
number will
numbers
work.
works here.
1, 2, 3, 123. Discount code edit has autocomplete. Apply button. Submit and checkout double right point and angle bracket button. Membership checkout. WPA11Y Meetup. March 20th. Busy. Membership checkout. WPA11Y Meetup. March 20th. Membership checkout.
Oh, no.
Rejoin today. Main landmark button. Submit and checkout double right point and angle.
This was good to see though.
Link
Okay,
to the
so there was an error. Do you want to see if you can find it?
that username is heading level. That username is already taken. Please try another.
Yeah, but to be fair, I just kind of know where to look for these after a while. So
Username edit has autocomplete test assert.
most users would not make it look that easy.
Main landmark. Blank. R. Blank. 2, 5. 25. Password edit protected selected.
So
Submit
you
and check
might
out
just have to re-enter the credit card information.
Oh my gosh, that is
Yeah.
an accessibility issue for everyone, not just me.
discount credit or debit card export credit or debit card number edit has autocomplete 1234 secure blank.
I suspect that that's a Stripe thing. I don't know if
Yep.
you couldn't do anything about that, right, Jason? Like when the page reloads, Stripe isn't going to allow you to keep the credit card info in it, would it?
No, I think technically we could somehow, but for PCI compliance, they don't want you to do that. But yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh, don't even get me started tonight on how the federal government's so accessible.
Mhm.
I wonder if you did it actually reload the page and it was just fast? Or did
it
it
did.
put in it did reload the page, right?
Yeah.
What
Yep.
if is a better solution on errors to Ajax in the errors with an alert and not reload the page, because then that might not clear out the credit card information?
That definitely would be a better solution, yes.
Yeah, I like that. And that could be possible. People request that. The problem is it's WordPress, and so stuff is kind of infinitely customizable. And so doing JavaScript verification of the fields is possible, but really challenging. But it is kind of on our roadmap. I don't know if we could talk about this later, but to split the checkup into multiple steps, which like simplifies what's on the screen at one time and allows you to do better kind of JavaScript level checking of things. And definitely there's ways to, like, for the username in particular and the email address, to do an Ajax, like, hey, is this username available, and kind of indicate to the user somehow when
Before
it's
they
not,
even hit
before
the
they
submit
submit.
button.
Yeah. So there's ways to do it. It's good to hear that. It's like another reason for us to do it is to make it more accessible, you know?
Well, I warn against going the multi-step approach because most people get it wrong. They don't
Okay.
manage focus properly. The user has no idea what's loaded at any given time. You can get yourself into a whole lot of trouble doing things like that.
We'll have to get another audit from you before we push that out then.
Always happy to help.
4 2 4 2 4 2 4 2 4 2 4 2 4 2
Is that it?
Two more.
2 4,242,424,000,000. Section secure CVC. Section secure expiration date input frame. Document credit or debit card expiration date edit has 1 2 12/2 4 1 2 space /space 2 4 blank. Section secure CVC 1 2 3 123 discount code edit apply but submit and checkout membership checkout WPA Submenu link about WordPress. Main landmark membership confirmation heading level 1. Thank you for your membership to WPA 11Y Meetup, March 20th. Below are details about your meta welcome email with a copy of your heading level 3 invoice D9CA 71857F on March 21st, 2023. Link print. List with 3 items account. Test user. Test example com. Membership level enhanced. Discount code 11Y. Out of list billing address. Test user. 123 in Nashville, TNUS. Payment method. Visa ending in 4242. Expiration 12/2024. Total billed. Total $15. Link view your membership account. Complimentary landmark.
Looks pretty good to me.
Everything's perfect on there. Awesome. So do you want to view your membership account?
Main landmark view your membership account link. Membership account. Submenu link about work. Main landmark membership account heading level 1. Heading level 3 my memberships.
So we have our heading level 3 here. Need to change that to heading level 2. Heading order is very important.
So can I want to talk about this for just a second, because I think this applies to a lot of plugins. Correct me, is this a short code or a block on this page?
Yeah,
that the way this works,
it could be
Jason?
either, but it's a short code probably right now. Yeah.
So what I would recommend doing, because what is hard about this is you don't know what other content the user might put on the page, is in an ideal world, you have an attribute on the short code or like a drop down on the block settings where they
nice.
can select their heading levels for the various subheadings. And then that allows, because theoretically they could put an H2 higher up
Yeah.
above this.
And I think it's
But-
funny. I think what happened here is this was coded. I don't know exactly when it happened, or maybe we're slow to do it before it became more standard to have your H1 used as the like post title instead of the site title. So that long ago, we just haven't like reevaluated it. I just worked on a website where that was still the case. It was using an old theme, and changing that is like a good for SEO and accessibility. But so we should assume H2, it's more common for how the short codes are used, but have a way to override it would be good. And that would be good for folks who maybe have that older theme or they were relying on styling or something else, like they're they had it, underneath other H headings and stuff like that. That'd be good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think just giving users the ability to choose heading levels is really important. Like when we, on our theme developments, if we build custom blocks, we always try to do that because you never know how they're going to use it. So,
and I wonder
Yeah.
with blocks in particular, we might be able to kind of figure it out. So that would be cool. Like, I mean,
yeah,
give me a setting
recognize
where
what
I could
heading
just
is
inherit
above it.
Yeah.
Table with 2 rows and 3 columns. Row 1, column 1 level. Row 2 enhanced link update billing info link change link cancel. Billing column 2 $15 now and then $25 per month. Expiration column 3. Edge of table. Edge of table. Out of table link view all membership options.
Well, the table has table headings. That's nice. It works.
Heading level 3 my account. Test user. List with 2 items username. Testessor 25. Email test example com. Out of list link edit profile link change password link log out. Heading level 3 past invoices. Table with 2 rows and 4 columns. Row 1 column 1 date. Row 2 link March 21st, 2023. Level column 2 enhanced. Amount column 3 $15. Status column 4 paid. Edge of table pay out of table heading level 3 member links. List with 1 items link view and print membership card. Out of list heading level 4 courses. List with 1 items link how to train your dog. Link 7 lessons. Out of list complimentary landmark heading.
Yeah. I can't see any obvious problems with this page.
Awesome. So, Kim from Paid Memberships Pro had asked about updating your member profile. So let's say you realize that you didn't live in Nashville anymore and you want to go move somewhere else.
Navigation link. Main landmark
you be
membership
able
with
to
2 rows
do
and 3
that?
columns. Row 2 level column 1 update billing info link. Change link. Enhanced link update billing info link change link cancel. Change link. Cancel link.
Oh, I overlooked these. My mistake. So change and cancel should tell us what we are changing and canceling, and the same for update billing info in a perfect world.
View all membership options link. Edit profile link.
So again, like that'd probably be an ARIA label on the link that's like change your membership level, cancel this membership, or yeah. Could people have multiple?
Yes. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's possible. It's not super common, but
So it
yeah.
would actually need to be like cancel enhanced membership
Right.
so that
Yeah.
it has like the name of the membership that they've purchased in that.
Perfect.
Your profile. WPA11Y Meetup. March 20th. Main landmark. Your profile heading level 1. First name. Edit as autocomplete. Last name. Edit as autocomplete. Display name. Edit as autocomplete. Test user.
So these are not required either.
Email. Edit as auto heading level company name. Edit as position. Edit as checkbox separator.
All
Checkbox
right,
not
I
checked.
failed.
Except for button update profile button.
Alex, I gave you
Separator.
a thing that you
Button
can't
WordPress.
actually fulfill. But there's no address
Nice.
fields on this.
Main
So that was a
landmark.
bad suggestion.
Uh,
You
membership
could
account,
add a
double
company
tool
name
navigation.
though or something.
Main landmark membership account heading. Table with 2 rows and 3 columns. Row 2 level column 1 update billing info link.
What about under update billing info?
Oh, I don't
that would
know.
update your whole billing address and credit card.
Oh,
but
so
if
that
you
might be
wanna-
where you would go if you were no longer living in Nashville.
Yeah. We're in the middle, like I don't know if you like the sidebar, but there's like billing addresses, shipping addresses, and mailing addresses, and people are in the habit in WooCommerce as well, and also our membership plugin of like assuming the billing address is like their home address or like just their quote unquote address. And so I don't know, so we're kind of in the middle of updating our code in various places to treat these addresses differently, even though people have been treating them all the same. Just interesting.
Change cancel link. View all membership options link. Edit profile link.
We'll go back here and just
Your profile,
change
tool for navigation.
something random.
Main landmark. First name edit as autocomplete test. Last name edit as autocomplete user. Display name publicly as edit as autocomplete test user. Main lang. RESU. Space.
I want to be known as test.
Update profile button. Your profile. WPA11. Toolbar nav. Main landmark. Your profile heading. Your profile has been updated. First name.
Profile's been updated.
Your heading banner landmark horizontal. Out of your first name. Update cancel button.
Was
So
it
you're
cancel
going really
button?
fast.
Hmm.
Would it have told you that and then you just moved? Like I was wondering if this one actually was starting to read out.
No,
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 you moved to
it
it and that's
just
why I
the-
read it out.
the page reloaded and I moved to it. Yeah, I didn't expect anything to get read here.
Do you have like the link, Amber, on that feature of like how to
Yeah.
announce something to the screen readers,
Mm-hmm.
but not regular users?
Yeah, I can find that for
Or
you.
alert. I know you
So
said the
the
alert rule
best-
or ARIA live rule, so I could Google it, but
Yeah, I can put that, I'll put that in the chat for everyone. The best links for ARIA is that I've found, I don't know if you have a different opinion, Alex, but I like the MDN web docs, developer
it's-
docs.
By far the best, yes.
So there's the alert role, and then let me find ARIA Live. Oh, actually, that might be on the ARIA alert role documentation. But you can see everything on the
Okay,
left-hand
yeah.
column of that page.
perfect.
It has code examples and all kinds of stuff. It's really useful.
So the alert rule and then ARIA live is an attribute. So it takes assertive or polite. And it's just one constant that's used as more like a region that updates with JavaScript mostly. And the
Okay.
alert rules can be a little bit more easy to implement, if you will.
Okay.
Okay, so I think it would be good to transition into the admin setting screens unless you have any other interest in front end things. Jason?
I think that was the main front end components. So yeah,
Wonderful.
it'd be great to get to that admin. If you guys are excited too, I'm excited about the admin also. So
Yeah, I think we
deep
are.
breath first,
So,
a deep breath, go to the admin.
so you want to log out of your test user and log back in?
Toolbar
As an
navigation
admin.
landmark with 2 items. Submenu link about WordPress. Submenu link WPA out of list with 2 items. Edit as autocomplete. Search. Submenu link out of list link log out.
Oh, the WP admin bar, which still remains
Login username.
best even today.
Password edit. Username or email address edit as autocomplete. Screen sharing meeting. New OneNote pad row. New OneNote. HTTPS. Najad 44 selected. Login W. Password edit. New OneNote. QCSFGQ. QCSAMK selected. Login. Dashboard WP. Link skip to main content.
Okay.
So I slacked you a link to
OneNote.
their
Yes.
onboarding
HTTPS.
wizard.
HTTP deselected.
The link. Got it.
Dashboard double nav / unselected. Expand collapsed. Dash link skip to main content. Set up link skip to main content. Main
Right.
landmark.
So
Heading level 1.
Wow,
Congratulations,
this
new
is,
member.
oh, let me say something
Yeah.
real quick, Alex. So it's a little bit weird because it's already been completed because like the
Oh.
steps are set up. So you're loading at the end. So I'm hoping there's a way for us. Oh, here's me. I'm trying to drag your speech here. I think that there are.
You can
Let me
add
make
a,
sure. Yes.
maybe we could
So
send them a
there's a
different link.
link
Next.
that's called general info. And if you go to that general info link, it should load the first thing,
Congratulations, link
what
all
a
set.
user would
5.
first
Link
experience.
4. Link map 3. Link 2. Link general info 1. Link graphic page. Link logout. Main 1. Link general info. Link T.
Yeah, this is
Right.
why steps are a bad idea. We're going to get into this here in a minute.
Oh, that'll be good.
WPA 11 Y
Um,
button. Skip to main content.
So when you activate
On-
paid memberships pro, it'll redirect you, or yeah, the first time you try to use PM Pro, it'll redirect you to this screen. But since it was already set up, we had to like fake it through the link. And now you're,
Yeah.
and some stuff will be a little bit different than it is on a brand new install, but it's pretty much the same. Yeah, go ahead.
Honestly, I'm a little selfishly like interested in this because we've talked about designing one of these for ourselves.
Hey,
Yeah, and at the time I did tell you not to do it, so I was hoping you listened to my advice.
I know. So why the steps? Why do you not like the steps?
For this reason alone. So, most screen reader users don't like reading the navigation menu on every page. So, we'll find the first heading on the page, the heading level 1.
Main landmark. Welcome to your new membership site. Heading level 1.
What is the problem when the user doesn't know about all those steps that are above them? Well,
oh, you don't
just
know how many
that.
steps are.
They don't know they're there
Mm,
because
what if you had the steps actually after the H1?
that is where they should be, but probably laid out a bit differently. This is actually a good use case where you should have paid memberships pro is the heading level 1, the steps that follow it, and the step itself is the heading level 2. And then each section contained within a step is the heading level 3. I'm sure there are plenty of consultants out there that would disagree, but also 90% positive most users will never look above the main heading for those links.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, so I do have a question, like, I don't know if theoretically, you don't need to use those links to move through the steps. I'm assuming when you get to the bottom of whatever this form is, it would just take you to the next one. But is it more that you don't even know, like you don't know how to orient yourself to, I'm going to have to go through 5 different screens? Is that what the problem is?
Let me ask a better question. Why do you as a sighted person like seeing these steps?
Okay, so for the same reason I just said, I like to know how many screens I'm going to have to get through to finish it.
Yes, so the information that screen readers would also like to know is pretty much not available to them because most people just don't go looking above the main content.
Mhm.
Yeah, especially in the WordPress admin.
Yeah. And the other kind of given to that rule is most of the time the steps, especially in like a tab situation
Mhm.
where there's like tab displays, most of them are not accessible. So that's another really good reason that most users wouldn't pay this much attention.
So Bruce asked in the chat, could you put something like step 1 of 5, welcome to your new WordPress membership site for the headings that you have here?
You definitely could, yes, and that would actually be perfectly fine, but you're still left with making the user search for that information.
Mhm.
I mean, it takes away the guesswork of knowing how many steps there are, but
Mhm.
But it's better. So the solution is just make sure the H1 is always above the steps.
that would be my ideal world, yes. Because if the information is valuable for sighted people, it's probably valuable for us as well.
Yeah.
That isn't always the rule, though.
Yeah. I wonder, like, I don't want to slow you up, but taking notes, but one thing we thought about when creating the steps was they were like first informational of like what step you're on. And then secondary, it's like, hey, if people click on the link, like let them go there, but it's not really meant to go out of order. So I wonder if that would be confusing, that they look like links and you could skip around. I guess you kind of can. So, I mean, we did build it in a way that if you skip around, it only gets slightly confused, the code in the back end.
Yeah, the
Yeah, I mean,
other thing
Yeah.
worth noting is this should be marked up as an actual list.
Link all set. 5. Link advanced 4.
Is it not?
3.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
isn't. It's a visual list or
Yeah,
some
yeah, we
type
should
of
do that.
visual presentation.
Link 2. Link general 1.
And the other
Link general info.
thing is it doesn't actually tell you which step you're on.
yeah, so it'd be better if it was actually marked up as a nav menu with an LI and it updated current,
Right.
like you would on a home, like a
So-
website navigation.
That gets really tricky in the WordPress admin, because if you have a nav landmark in the main landmark, and if users want to move past the landmark, the nav landmark, there's no longer a way to do that because it's already in the main. That's why I've always told people to make sure the breadcrumbs are just above the main landmark, but not in it.
Yeah,
It's definitely an option, but keep in mind that if you have a really long list of steps, it may be detrimental.
yeah, this is really interesting.
Good.
It's also kind of like one of those things where there's not always like there's clear ways that are better, but there's things you have to really think about and discuss.
Yeah, that's why my philosophy's just been don't do it.
Make it easier.
That's always the easy out.
So
Welcome to
how
the
about the
Heading level
rest
1.
of the things here? Yeah.
Tell us about your membership site to get up and running in 5 easy steps. What type of membership site are you creating? Choose the answer that best fits the primary value of your membership site. Combo box collapsed select. Choose what type. Tell us about combo box collapsed select.
So these fields are not labeled. The surrounding text is red, but there's no actual associated HTML label for this field. This would be considered invalid.
Checkbox unavailable, not checked. Yes. Generate the required Blue Gen pages for me. Recommended. We detect a new of pages assigned for paid memberships. Pro.
Can I
Combo
say
box.
something real quick, Alex?
Yes.
So Jason, you have a label up there. It's just what it's missing is the for attribute. And then and the ID of the field.
Oh, so close.
Association. Checkbox unavailable, not checked. Yes. Generate the required Blue Gen pages for me. Recommended. We detect a new of pages. Checkbox not checked. Yes. I will be collecting payment. We check combo box collapsed. Yes. I will be collecting payments for my memberships. Checkbox not checked.
Okay, so this is another really interesting pitfall in accessibility. So when you add disabled to a form element, there is no way to focus it without actually forcing the screen reader into a virtual mode where you can see the elements. So right now I'm in kind of an operational forms mode. So it only via the tab key jumps to elements that have a tab index of 0.
Okay.
And unfortunately,
so-
disabled takes it out.
Yeah, so that's the item above that, which you can't select.
Yeah,
I mean,
but users don't get the helpful note on why they can't select it. They just wouldn't know it's there.
So would it be better to not even show, like just hide this input completely rather than having it disabled? Like if it's not applicable, you don't need to show it? Is that a better solution?
The better solution, which requires a fair amount of work, would be to add something like aria disabled equals true, and then somehow prevent users from checking or unchecking the box.
Okay.
That's a lot of work though. But if you want perfection, that's how it's done. Because then the screen reader can still focus this. They will still get the disabled.
Is it?
Users won't be able to click it, but they'll get this little helpful note that, hey, this is why we can't do this.
Is it overly clever if, can you like sneak like a hidden field in between that only screen readers will see? And be like, hey, FYI, I just skipped this section because it's disabled. Or that's like overly clever.
So you actually cannot do that, because what will happen if
Okay.
you do is it will also be in the tab sequence for sighted users.
Right.
So the tab, if they press tab on a hidden field, they'll be, what happened?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it feels like a bad idea in general to kind of, just like on mobile, like when you're developing for mobile, say like, detect that I'm on mobile and only do this. And it's better to just make it look good on a screen that's small, because you don't really know, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so probably just don't have the disabled field at all if it doesn't apply.
Yeah.
View plan and pricing link. Yes, I will be collecting payments for my memberships. Checkbox not checked. View plans and pricing link.
You plans and
I don't-
pricing for what?
Right. Yep.
Edit as autocomplete blank.
That's an unassociated label.
Submit and continue button.
Is there anything else on here that needs to be filled out?
I mean, I think it's all optional.
So yeah, you're on step 2 now, right? Or wait, where do we get?
Yeah, we're
Is
still on the
it- yeah.
first one. There's also, so below this, there's also a link for skipping and a link to exit the wizard and return to the dashboard, just so you know what else
link.
is on this page.
Exit wizard and
Oh,
return to
sorry.
dashboard link. Content info landmark. Main skip link. Submit and continue button.
So you could try that.
Setup wizard WPA11Y Meetup March 20th WordPress document. Main menu navigation landmark link skip to main content. Main landmark membership levels heading level 1. Set up various membership levels from additional settings. Late checkbox not checked. Set up various membership levels from this wizard. You can set up more membership levels with additional settings later. Checkbox not checked. Free membership. Check additional settings later. Free membership checkbox not checked. Main landmark. Free edit as autocomplete blank. Submit and continue button. Free membership checkbox not checked. Space checked. Free edit as submit and continue button. Space. Set up wizard WP link skip to main content. Main landmark advanced settings edit configure advanced settings later. Filter searches and archives. Combo box collapse. No non-members will see restricted post pages and searches and archives. Blank. Show excerpts to non-members. Combo box collapse. Yes, show excerpts. Checkbox not checked. Enable spam protection.
See, this is me reading out of forms mode.
Combo
You're in
show
browse mode right
filter
now.
search later.
Yep,
Configure advanced later. Config heading level 1 advanced link all set.
we'll show the difference.
Main menu navigation landmark. Skip to main content link.
Well, that worked well.
Setup wizard W. General info link. Payments mem advanced link. All set link. Combo box no non-members will see restricted post pages and searches and archives. Collapsed. Combo box yes show excerpts. Collapsed. Enable spam protection checkbox not checked.
So it looks like the checkboxes get read, but the combo boxes definitely don't.
Combo box yes allow usage of paid memberships pro to be tracked. Collapsed. Submit and continue button.
Yeah, I
Setup
think it's just those
WPA 11
big
by Meetup.
labels.
Yes,
None
right.
of
Yep,
this,
they're probably all programmed the same. Good.
none of this is actually, none of these are actually issues that block anybody from using this plugin, though.
Main landmark link view docs. Main landmark setup complete heading level 1. Congratulations, your membership site is ready. Heading level 1, what's next? You indicated you're building an association membership site. Here are some recommended add-ons for your business. Link add member from admin. Link approvals. Link donations. Or more functionality. Add more features to your membership site. Blank. Link view available add-ons. Blank. Documentation. Not sure where to start? Take a look at our blank. Link view docs. Link exit wizard and return to dashboard.
Yeah, you're definitely going to need some labeling on these links for context.
Mm-hmm.
Content info. Main X.
The other thing is, I bet you those links open in a new tab. Like the view docs, it probably opens your website in a new tab. So you'd probably want a warning about that, right, Alex?
So I am actually, I've always been kind of one of the ones on the fence about that. It's never really bothered me as much, but if it's really easy to say opens in new tab, just do it.
Okay. Does the screen reader automatically like translate that little like new tab icon people put at the end of links?
No,
Or no, it probably just says something silly. Yeah.
Yeah.
or it just don't
I
read
don't
it
know what the
at all.
icon's called. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so you'd put it like on an ARIA label typically, or
Yep.
hidden screen reader
Okay.
tags, but typically ARIA label.
Okay.
What you want to be careful of though is that you make sure you get your spacing right, because if you don't, you'll get something like docs open in new window.
with no space in between.
No space.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that is actually more annoying than just links that actually open in new windows.
No. So I think we talked about editing, like if you wanted to add a membership level. So you are in the settings now for paid memberships
Main
pro.
landmark, welcome to paid memberships pro, heading level 2. Button unavailable, move up button, move to heading, navigation, landmark, link license, heading level 2, welcome to paid memberships pro.
Heading 2, we are doing so good.
You skipped the
Move
tabs
up,
like you
move
said.
down button, extended toggle panel.
Yeah, I don't think you're at the top of the page.
There's
Navigation, landmark, link license, link add-ons,
interesting. So that is a navigation landmark.
link set, link reports, link orders, link members, link dash v2.10 point, link graphic page, link logout.
But again, there's no heading here, so that illustrated
jumped to
perfectly
H1.
how you could miss this.
Main landmark, link graphic v2.10 navigation, landmark, link dashboard, link members, link orders, link reports, link settings, link add-ons, link license, heading level 2, welcome to paid memberships pro.
I'm not seeing anything obvious there on where I would go to add a new membership.
So let me open it.
You want me to cheat? Tell you.
Do you want to keep exploring?
Button unavailable, move up button, move down button, expanded toggle panel, welcome to paid memberships pro, heading level 3, initial setup, list with 4 items, link view membership levels, link manage membership pages.
I mean, I guess that's pretty simple, but it feels like this panel might eventually go away.
Link configure payment.
Oh, why do you say that?
Link out of button unavailable, move up button, move down button, expanded toggle panel, welcome to paid memberships pro.
Because of the way the buttons indicate that this is a movable widget.
Heading level 3, initial setup, list with 4 items, link view membership levels, V.
Just feels kind of, I don't know, this page feels a little weird to me.
Link manage user out of list, heading level 3, other settings.
It's like it's trying to replicate the WordPress dashboard.
Yeah, that's what those are, right? Widgets that you can rearrange.
Yeah.
Link view advanced settings. Link explore add-ons for additional out of list separator. For guidance as you begin these steps, link view the heading level 3 support license. No support license key found. Link enter your key here. The annual support license is right. Link view plans and price separator. Paid memberships pro and our add-ons are distributed under the link other thing. Heading level 3 get involved. There are many ways get involved. List with 4 link follow, link share out of list separate.
Okay.
Main menu.
Well,
main landmark list with 4 items. View membership levels link.
It's pretty clear that view membership levels is where we need to go.
Settings WPA11Y meetup. Link skip to main content. Main landmark membership levels heading level 1. Drag and drop membership levels to your.
Oh, sorry. Now everyone's going to get to hear my phone speak away.
Table with 5 rows and 5. Column 2 name. Row 2 link beginner link edit link copy link delete. Billing details column 3 free.
So this page had a heading level 1 again. Hold on. All right.
It's okay, my phone did it too.
There we go.
Name column row 3 link enhanced link edit link copy link delete. Row 4 link professional row 3 link billing details column 3 $25 per month. Expiration column 4. Allow signals column 5 link yes. Edge of table link yes. Build name column 2 link enhanced link edit link copy link delete.
Looks like this
Link edit, link copy.
uses the WP list table class, so
Link ID column 1 2. Row 2 allow signals column
or
5
at
link
least some form of it. Unless you all actually did make a custom table for this, but either way, it does work.
Row 3 ID column 1 2. Out of table. Main landmark membership levels heading level 1. Drag and drop membership table with 5 rows and 5 column out of table. Drag and drop membership levels to reorders on the levels page.
That's kind of going to be a problem, though. I'm not sure how you're going to get around that.
What? Oh, the drag and drop.
Table with 5 rows and 5 columns. Row 1 column 1. Column 2 name. Column 1 ID.
Going to need some manual buttons. Move up, move down.
Row 2 1. Name column 2 link
Yeah.
beginner link copy link delete. Row 3 link enhanced link edit. Row 4 link row 5 link edge of table link at billing detail expiration allow signal out of table please link rate us on WordPress or team. Content info land. Main menu.
Okay, I don't know where you go to add a new.
Main landmark
It's
member.
weird. It jumped right past the link on it. So that's
Yeah, I'm
interesting
trying
to
to
figure out why
I'm
that's
in-
happening.
Items link user fields link.
Fixing it.
There's no heading. See, we just keep highlighting this. I'm not doing this on purpose.
Link levels, link discount codes, link pages, link out of list navigation landmark, link license, link add-ons, link orders, link link dashboard, v2.10, link graphic, link logout.
All right, well,
So
okay, so
Alex,
it's not up here.
there is
where
a
is it?
link that is the first link after the H1 for membership levels.
Main landmark membership levels
I
heading
can tell
level.
you the text on it if you want.
Drag and drop membership levels to reorders on the levels page.
Oh
Table with
wait,
5 rows
I
and
bet
5
I know
columns,
why.
column 2 beginner link.
It's
Okay.
definitely
It doesn't
Okay.
have an href. it has JavaScript : add level. Does that make it not
Membership
focusable?
levels heading. Button search levels.
It shouldn't.
Edit as search level blank. List with 8 items. Link user fields. Link advanced. Out of search levels. Edit as button search levels.
All right.
This
Menu.
is coded very similar
Menu.
to
Search
like
level. Control panel
the
frame.
post page.
Control panel.
You know,
Document.
like
This page
the
uses non-static.
default WordPress
Level
post
H1
page.
class WP. White space draggable 12. A class page title action. Row as icon. Row as icon. Menu. Collapse space sub menu. Copy. Iterate outer HT.
Let's grab
Developer.
our HTML
T.
here
Level 1
and
notepad.
take a
Add new one
look.
notepad. A class less. A class. Pay that type that act. That add that icon. That icon. That plus quote ref. Jav call add level. Add new level. A. Level new add. L. Left to right parent. Semi quote. Greater. A. D.
Okay, so our answer for this is probably going to be
Settings
CSS.
WPA. Breadcrumbs toolbar. Rules. Off button. Top CLS. Add new rule. Toggle light code. Toggle print. Document. Heading level 2 button. Expand. Element. Button. Wrap WP. List with 1 items. Margin left button. 0 button. Wrap add new H2. List with 14 items. 4px button. Padding button. 4p. Position. Relative button. Top button. -. Text decoration. None button. Border button. 1p. Click to. Border radius button. 2p. Text shadow. None button. Font weight button. 6. Font size. 30. Line height button.
I think it's hidden somehow.
Normal. Color
Okay.
button.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes.
So Glenn Walker in the chat, he said he thinks it's a placeholder link. If it doesn't have an href, then it's not going to be tagged focusable. So even if you put, I think if you put a hashtag in there and then you had your JavaScript
Yeah.
on it, then it would be focusable. He did share a link to HTML specs about this in the chat. But I think that's why it's not focusable, because it has the JavaScript inside the A tag.
Wow, that is,
If you're in browse mode, can you get to it and trigger it? Just
no, there's
For now
no way
to
to
see.
get to that link. I don't think there's a way
Settings
to
double-
get to that link.
Main menu.
Let's see.
Elements list dialog. Preview. Level 0. Skip to make. Skip to dash home. Update post. All add cat attack courses. Sub C. Course categories for all lessons. 15. WordPress 1. Yes. Delete cop edit. 3. Yes. Delete cop edit. Yes. Delete cop edit. And yes. Delete cop edit. 1. Beginner 1. Add new level. Advanced 99. Add new level 100 of 122.
It
Level 0.
shows up here, so I want.
can you
Settings WPA 11Y Meetup March 20th. WordPress Mozilla Firefox. Button search levels. Heading level 1 membership levels. Link add new level. Drag and drop membership. Heading level.
Oh, now it's there. Does it appear on some type of focus event or something?
Add new level link.
so can I tell you
Oh.
what happened? When you triggered that link, so actually this should be a button, not a link.
Right.
It opened a modal. However, it did not shift your focus into the modal. It looks to me like you're still tabbing behind the modal, Alex.
Oh yes, I'm sure that's what's happened, but I'm just really confused as to why the link is now there.
It looks like it's active. So I don't know.
That's very
maybe-
strange.
What type of membership level do you want to create? Link. Blank. Table with 5 rows and out of link. Out of link
Okay,
heading. Out of
so
heading link. Space.
first we have the closed link, which is not accessible because it's an icon.
Heading level 1. What type of membership level do you want to create? Link free. Link a free membership level that never link monthly. Link charge a recurring monthly subscription. Link a free membership level that never expires. Link monthly. Link a free. Link skip to main content.
All right, I selected free.
Main landmark. Add new membership level. Heading level 1. Button expanded general information. Table with 3 rows and 2 columns. Row 1 column 1 name column 2 edit required invalid entry as autocomplete.
Hey, look, required attributes. This makes me very happy.
Column 1 N A. Out of table with 3 rows and 2 columns. Name row 1 column 2 edit required invalid entry as autocomplete. Main landmark. TEST free description row 2 column 2 add media button. Visual button. Text button. Bold button. Italic. Insert. Block with. Delete it. Insert it. Insert it. Bulleted. Numbered. List item. Code button. Insert. Read more. Close tag. Description edit. Confirmation message row 3 add media button. Button visual button add media. Column 1 confirmation message. Edge of table confirm column button edit out of use the placeholder ver checkbox not check to include this message in the membership confirmation email. Edit multi-line. Check to include this message in the membership confirmation email. Checkbox not checked. Use the placeholder variable membership level confirmation message in your checkout link email. Checkbox not checked. Use the placeholder variable. Check to include this message in the membership confirmation email. Checkbox not checked. Use the link templates to include this information.
So this description is not read on this checkbox. So you can fix that with an attribute called aria described by. That takes the ID of this description text, if it should indeed be associated with this checkbox.
Yeah, it's for the text field above it.
Blank. Link to use the placeholder variable membership.
No, it's for
Out of link.
this.
New. Use templates to include.
Oh, you mean the checkbox is for the text field above it?
Yeah, it's like the checkbox relates to the text field above it, and then the use placeholder variable message is for the text box there too.
So
So it makes
the
sense.
other thing about this is, so this uses, I think, Tiny MCE, like the default classic editor in WordPress,
Yep.
to be able to write those messages and the description. Did it clearly communicate to you as you were going through like what the first Tiny MCE was for and then what the second one was for?
About as clear as it's going to in WordPress.
Okay, so that's done the best it can within the WordPress ecosystem.
We were talking about tables and divs earlier, and this is using table for layout because WordPress lays out some other fields. I don't know if they still do that on core pages this way. And I know,
Yeah, where the message is in the first column and then the
yeah,
setting.
yeah. So it's kind of a table of settings, but we did it just to be like as close to WordPress HTML as possible, even though it felt a little icky.
Well, I approve.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Link templates to include blank. Out of table button collapse billing details. Button collapsed expiration settings. Button collapse billing details expanded. Set the member pricing for this level. The initial payment is still a recurring payment. Price only applies to optional. Allow more cost. Link on. Table with 2 rows and 2 columns. Row 1, column 1 initial payment. Column 2 $edit as autocomplete 0. The initial amount collected. Row 2, column 1 recurring subscription. Edge of table recurring. Column 2 checkbox not check if this level has a recur. Out of table button collapsed expiration settings. Button expanded content settings. Protect access to posts, pages, and content sections with built-in PM Pro features if you want to. Protect more content types. Link read our documentation on restricting content. Table with 4 rows and 2 columns. Row 1, column 1 categories. Row 2 single posts. Row 3 single page. Row 4 other edge of table. Other content. Column 2 protect access to other content including custom post types, CPTS, courses, events, products, communities, podcasts, and more. Link read our documentation on restricting content. Blank. Out of table button collapsed other settings. Button save level button button collapsed other settings. Button save level button cancel. Please link read us up. Buttons button collapsed save level button. Settings WPA 11 main menu navigation landmark link skip to main landmark drag and drop membership table with 6 rows and 5 columns. Row out of heading level button search levels. Edit as on search level membership level updated successfully.
There it is.
So how can that announcement to tell you that it was added be improved? Focus on it when the page loads?
If this is using the admin notices hook in core, there is no real easy way to improve this because core admin notices are not that accessible to begin with. It's a project problem.
What about skipping WordPress notices and using like a browser alert?
That would work perfectly fine.
Because then it would pop up the browser button and be like, this has been successful. And then they could like close that and then be in the page.
I think most users would find that highly annoying, but it would work great for us.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it depends on how frequently people are coming to these pages and adding new members. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're doing it all the time, you might find that annoying. But if it's like once or twice, you might be like, okay, here's my success message, and I close it.
That's something we thought about too. We moved around our menus and the dashboard like a few years ago, and we got some complaints from folks around like the editing of membership levels being harder to find or something like that. And we tried to emphasize the stuff that site owners do every day, like orders and members and reports, and the stuff that they do once kind of get de-emphasized. But still, like, you know, Alex was trying to find the add level button that was invisible and couldn't figure out the, you know, the navigation of the main settings. And those are things that we can improve, but that's a good point about how often do you see that?
Yeah. So we have about 15 minutes left. I thought it might be really interesting to go look at your reports tab.
Oh yeah, sure.
Like Alex, you want to go find
yeah.
out how much money you made on your website?
Navigation landmark dashboard link members, link orders, link reports. Reports WPA 11Y.
And in real life, I'd be paying somebody to tell me how much money I made. Just throwing that out there.
Name landmark visits, news, and logins heading level 2.
Okay, so the first thing to point is that the heading level 1 on this page, well, there isn't one. The heading level 1 should be on this page is the page title of reports. Instead, we have the first title,
Navigation
heading title of,
heading level 2 visits, news, and logins.
which I
That's
mean
weird.
is clear enough, but it would be nice if it said report somewhere.
Navigation link add-ons.
Context is everything. That's what I tell people. Context is everything.
Visits, news, and button unavailable, move up button, move down button, expanded toggle panel, visit table with 6 rows and 4 columns, row 1, column 1. Column 2 visits, column 1.
That is an empty column heading. I would prefer that one to be hidden.
Column 2 visits, today row 2 1. Column 1 today. Visits column 2 1. This week row 316. This month row 4 330. Views column 3 599. Logins column 422. Edge of table 22.
It is perfectly accessible.
Row 5 column
So
1.
I think there is something that is missing actually on these, which is if you went to like column 2, row 3, what context would you have for that?
Row, edge of table, blank, edge of table, column 2 visits.
Column 2, row 3.
Today row 2 1. This week row 316. This month row 4 335.
Oh, so no, it actually did it. I wasn't sure if it was going to read out, but no, you do have scopes of row on your headers there on the
Yeah,
left, so that's
it's-
great.
Tables are definitely not a problem in this plugin. That was the one thing that was consistently done right.
Well, not the one thing.
I mean, the one
But-
thing consistently with no errors anywhere. Not that this whole
So-
plugin is a mess or anything, because as I said earlier,
It's like I'm learning a lot. This is great.
there are no blocking issues that I found in this plugin, with the exception of that add link, which seems to appear and disappear whenever it chooses to.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so most of the problems you found are things that you can work around. They should be improved and made better, but it wouldn't stop you
Yeah.
necessarily from using this plugin.
No, it would definitely not stop a user from using this plugin. It might frustrate users, but
Yeah.
I don't think we're at a point where a lot of users would leave a website after encountering this plugin.
Nice.
Mhm. Yeah.
The next widget, the sales and revenue widget, has like clever hide show things. And I don't know if
Membership
that was
heading level
confused
2.
the
Sales
table.
and revenue. Testing sandbox. Heading level 2. Button move up button unavailable. Move down button. Expanded toggle panel. Sales and revenue. Testing sandbox. Table with 5 rows and 3 columns. Row 1 column 1. Column 2 sales. Today row 2 1. Revenue column 3 $15. Edge of table 15. This month row 3 $265. This year row 4 $265. All time row 5 $265. Edge of table 260. Sales column 2 4. Column 1 button all time. This year row 4 revenue column 3 206. Row 5 column 1 button all time. Row 4 button this year. Row 3 button this month.
So what are the buttons for?
Row 2 button today.
So you want to have a more clear label on that. That's like
Yeah.
expand
Yeah.
all sales for today or something like that. I don't know what it does. You haven't triggered it yet.
Sales column 1 button today. Today. Sales column 2 1.
Nothing.
Revenue column row 3 column 1 $15. Sales column 2 1. Revenue column 3 15. Row 4 column 1 button this month. Sales column 2 4. Column 1 but sales revenue column 3 row 5 column 1 button this year. Row 4 button this month. This month. Sales column 2 4. Revenue column row 5 column 1 $100. Sales column 2 2. Revenue column 3 $200. Row 6 column 1 $50. Sales column 2 1. Revenue column 3 50. Row 7 column 1 $15. Sales column 2 1. Revenue column 3 15. Row 8 column 1 button this year.
Yeah, this is really confusing. I would just break
Mhm.
this into different sections. It's not worth trying to make this work in a table. Just one table.
Yeah.
Just break this into multiple tables, make this much easier.
Because it's basically what it is it's like a table nested in a table, I guess.
Yeah,
It
something
tries to
like
break it
that.
down by price point and show you the individual sales by price point.
Oh. I thought it was individual purchases.
Oh, no. Yeah.
So
it's,
I'll say that was confusing for me also.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, probably if I like was using it all the time, then I would have gotten that, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think you'll get a handle on what that is if you're looking at it every day. But it's interesting. It's not labeled well, definitely for screen readers or even for sighted folks, like what's going on here.
I mean, my problem with this specifically is if you had hundreds of sales, this is going to turn into a nightmare very quickly.
It does like limit to 3 or 5 unless you overwrite, like it shows the most popular sales. Price points in that period.
Yeah,
But that's a good point.
I mean, this could just grow out of control so quickly.
We shared like a thing on Twitter where like, you know, we've been running our own site on Paid Memberships Pro for over 10 years. And I did like the all time thing and I forced it to show every single price, not just the top 5. And there was like, I forget what it was, like 30 or 50 different price points that we've sold like our membership stuff at it over. It includes like every discount code, every sale we ever ran.
Oh my gosh.
Stuff like that. So it was kind of interesting, and it broke it down and it showed how much we made for each one. It's kind of interesting to see over time.
Go to the details
Oh,
link
fun.
on this
Sales
tab.
and revenue. Testing SAM membership stats, head visits, views, and log mem sales and revenue. Button move up button unavailable. Move table with 9 rows and 3 columns. Row 1, column 1. Column 2 sales. Column 3 revenue. Row 2, column 1 button today. Sales column 2 1. Revenue column 3 $15. Row 3 column 1 $15. Sales column 2 1. Revenue column 3 $15. Row 4 column 1 button this month. Sales column 2.
It's after the table.
1 fifth busy all edge of revenue out of table link details. Blank. Link details. Blank. Please link link to E. Reports
So
WPA.
you want to have that link
Content.
to be more clear because there's multiple details buttons on that page.
Oh yeah, context on details. I
Yeah.
had that as a general note to just scan the whole plugin for stuff like that. Yeah.
Main landmark sales and revenue heading level 1. Show combo box collapse daily combo box collapse revenue for combo box collapse March combo box collapse 2023 for combo box collapse all levels combo box collapse all codes button generate report.
Whoa. Oh, you have to love inline styling for fields. Not. I wish all those were block level. It would read so much better.
Heading level 1 say combo box collapse daily.
And these labels are also not associated, so
Combo box collapse revenue.
it would be an absolute nightmare to figure out.
So go below these, all
Chart,
these
daily revenue.
filters.
Show the chart. Daily revenue for March 2023 renewals. New revenue average $12.50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
I think
This
we're
is
no
Google Charts, by the way. I don't know. Oh.
Yeah, so do you know what this is, Alex?
well, it said it was a chart. It's about the only useful information I got from it.
So when you encounter something like this, so this is like the ability to see revenue across a month, I think is what this is currently. Would you want to have a verbose paragraph summary? Would you rather just have a table that's below the chart? Like what would be most helpful, or like a export CSV option, which maybe they have that as an add-on, right? Like, so you could get it into Excel. Like, what do you think would be the solution for making a bar graph easily understood?
Definitely a table, and I'm honestly surprised users haven't already requested export to CSV.
Yeah, there is export to CSV. It might be one of those hidden buttons. It's next to the heading.
Oh yeah, hidden meaning for
Navigation
us,
landmark link reasons.
it's behind the
Navigation
screen.
landmark. Export to CSV link.
Oh, I can focus it with tab. So the link is
Okay.
definitely, it must be
Yeah.
something with CSS that you're doing because it's
Or-
in the DOM.
Okay, it might be that JavaScript thing. I'll play around because this link is actually an href and it goes to a URL that kicks off to CSV. The new level one is like a JavaScript that generates the modal, and so maybe that
Navigation
was
heading
what
level 1
was.
sales and revenue link export to CSV.
But it doesn't even get read by the screen reader until I manually focus it. So you have some
Okay,
type
even
of
this one?
JavaScript
Okay.
event doing
Or-
something.
Okay, that's interesting. And this isn't a problem. Like maybe the CSS is a little different. The HTML is based on like the post table heading, and then there's a button that says new posts to like squeeze that button in. So I don't know if that's a problem. If it's a problem with WordPress, then we can try to fix it in WordPress as well. But I'm assuming like when you go to the post table,
Oh no,
you
that works
find the
fine.
new post button. Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, it'd be interesting to figure out why it's different.
Show combo the chart.
Um,
Table column for average $12.50.
So interesting. There's already a table here.
Column 3 new revenue. Column 2 renewal. Column 1 day. Out of table 2021, 22, 23. Table with
It's
30.
past the chart.
Row 2 1. Renewals column 2 0. Row 3 0. Row 4 row 10 0. New revenue column 3 0. Average $12.50. Column 4 12.5. New revenue day edge of table 9. Row 11 10. Row 12 11. Renewals column 2 0. New revenue column 3 0.
this table isn't as accessible as the last one because it doesn't tell you
Row 13, 0. Renew date column 112.
which date you're looking at. It just announces the row number.
Row 14, 13. Renewals column 2, 0, 15, 0. Row 16, 0. Row 17, 0. New revenue column 3, 0. Average $12.50 column 4, row 18, 12.5. Row 19, row 32, 12.5. Edge of table, out of table average line calculated using data prior to current day, month, or year. Link back to reports dashboard. Please link read us on Word. Link back average line.
Yeah, so if you brought this table more in line with what you had on the previous page, it should work well.
So you know what's interesting? You actually, so for us, that visually was the bar chart that you were going through. So I think that's Google Charts' attempt to make an accessible bar chart. Which actually, I'm having not screen reader tested this, I'm really impressed because I was assuming you were just going to get chart, right? And like literally nothing
Main menu next.
else.
Main menu.
So, I mean,
Let's
I
take a
think
look
maybe
at
using,
something.
oh, sorry, what were you
Delete
gonna say?
left.
We're gonna see if sending screen reader focus through this does something different.
Combo box generate report button. Back to reports dashboard link. Read us on WordPress org link. Content info landmark.
No, tab key skips the whole thing.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's just pure HTML, no keyboard events or anything.
Hmm.
Yeah, Google Charts, not sure about that.
I think we've had folks ask to have these reports like in line as a table. And I think we have custom code to do something like that. But I always say just export to CSV. Like when the request comes in, I'm like, and
Rather than
yes,
outputting it visually on
yeah.
page.
Yeah. But it sounds like maybe Alex was like, hey, I like CSV, that's good. Or if like having some kind of toggle like table view, chart view on here
that would
helps
be
for this
nice.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's worth working on. Cool.
So we're at the hour-and-a-half mark. Do you have any final questions, Jason, for Alex?
I don't, maybe actually here's maybe a question. I feel like Alex might have reached out at some point, or we had like a really short chat like a few years ago about getting a accessibility review. And I was like hesitant to do it. We're hesitant in general, want to hire experts to give us advice on anything like SEO, because we want to make sure that we're ready to enact on the advice as soon as we get it. Otherwise it kind of, just is a little bit of noise. But maybe also there's some kind of like personal, like I was a little nervous, like you have the rules and I'm like, oh my God, and there are people on social media who talk about accessibility and they're very kind of fiery about it. And I get, where it would come from too. But this was like a crazy, useful, entertaining, interesting experience. So I'm gonna be your advocate and definitely try to hit you guys up for advice when we build the 3.0 features. I forget what we said we were going to do, and we I'll remember. Oh, the multi-step checkout. Yes, the multi-step checkout, which should be optional as well. So maybe that's an answer too, is like make it one page. But that would be good to review and try to make it as accessible as possible later, and also just tell other folks that this is an awesome process and they should come on the show or hire you guys. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem.
Yeah. So, there was, I think, one question a while back, but I didn't want to interrupt Alex. Let me scroll back and see if I can find it, unless, yeah. So just a follow-up on when you use the role alert, a screen reader will often say alert. And Glenn was wondering if, Alex, if you find that annoying rather than using a simple ARIA live with polite, which will just announce the text, like does hearing the word alert bother you?
Depends on the importance. So if they're doing that every time a page loads, yes, that would become very annoying. But sometimes ARIA live set to polite, it's very easy to have your speech interrupt that. So if it is a useful error message that you might have just moved to something else and your screen reader didn't have a chance to read it, then you miss out on the information. It's a mixed bag. Don't overdo it, don't underdo it.
Well, and also just say, there were quite a few people in the chat, Alex, saying thank you, and that it was really cool to watch. And someone said, thank you, Jason, for having the courage to let him test drive your plugin. And I second that, and being interested in making accessibility, a priority. And I'll have to say, like, your settings pages and stuff, while there's some things, like, there is a lot of, I've seen plugins where you can't do anything on the settings page at all. So I think that's great.
I will never come after anyone who wants an accessibility review, but where I start to draw the line is the companies who knowingly do bad. Like, it's been brought to their attention and they just continue to ignore.
Yeah, and if there's like simple fixes, I mean, this is time. I have a list. There's like 30, maybe more bullet points in here, and they're all a little bit, but in my opinion, it's straightforward. Like, not, there was a couple that were like, what do we do here or there? Move it. How are we going to move the H1 above the menu and make it look the same way? But it's fairly straightforward. But so yeah, that's annoying. Do you know if, like, so it's very popular for folks to use like React to build their settings pages, and is that just generally more or less accessible, like when people are using React as the framework for their pages instead of, we use kind of like the older school WordPress settings format, it's just HTML generated by PHP.
React is more accessible in the JS world compared to a framework like Vue.js, Vue.
Okay.
But as far as more accessible than this, absolutely not. Oh my gosh. Like, developers have no idea what they're doing in React for accessibility. And I'll just blanket statement that, because I mean, just, that's the truth. Nobody knows what they're doing in React for accessibility. I mean, there's things that look great visually, and then it just doesn't translate to, oh, that user might not see that appear all the way down the DOM if they're blind. It's like
core to React is like stuff is updating everywhere all at the same time, and that's like definitely like confusing to screen readers.
We could do a whole case study and test on Gutenberg to prove that point.
Yeah. I feel like an old man sometimes, because I'm like, isn't just a text box enough? Or can't this just be more straightforward? Or like, does this really have to be as fancy as they think it is? And I feel maybe that sentiment that I have, as long as like I'm maintaining these plugins, will kind of naturally make it a little more screen reader friendly. And if we do some of these other things, your suggestion, I'm excited to like how usable this will get.
That's what's annoying to a point, though, is like React itself is not inaccessible. Developers just use it in highly inaccessible manners.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was the thing we were talking about pre-show, if you will, where over the weekend I encountered a table that was fully built with divs. And I was just like, and it had like class of table, class of row, class of item. And I was just like, but why? So.
One part of our settings that is probably the trickiest is the user fields GUI to add fields. And you shouldn't get into it because it probably would just take a while, but if on your own time, I will hire you to look into that as well. Not every site needs it. You can use custom code to, kind of, we started off like you kind of have someone code up the fields that you need, is also like a way to get fields on your page, but there's a GUI for it. And it's kind of like the most complicated UI and most recent. So it'd be interesting to look at that later.
Yeah, I can imagine that's probably very interesting. It probably suffers from a lot of the challenges that used to be on the menus page under appearance.
Right. Yeah, there's just a ton of stuff. It makes me think, like, we think of features that most people kind of just want this, click this button and you get like the common fields. So things like that might help. Anyway.
Well, thank you both. I really appreciate it. We'll have the recording for you, Jason. And if you want, I can also get you the chat transcript with all the links that we shared.
Oh, perfect. That'd be helpful.
I'm gonna say goodbye, but I'm gonna take a second before I actually hit the end button because I gotta watch the captions and make sure that we fully captioned our goodbyes. So we do the smile and wave at the end quietly. So do you each real quick just want to say where people can find you again if they want to follow up?
You can find me at Alex Stein on LinkedIn, and I am Alex Stein on the Make WordPress Slack, and a few other random Slack groups here and there.
And I'm Jason Coleman. I'm on the WordPress Slack. To contact me personally, Jason_Coleman on Twitter is a good way to poke me. And the plugin is Paid Memberships Pro. It's in the WordPress repository for free and also at our website, paidmembershipspro.com.
All right. Well, thank you both. Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.